All right, good evening. This is a regular meeting of the Ferndale Schools Board of Education being held Monday, April 21st, 2025. Our meeting is being video recorded and will be posted on the Ferndale Schools YouTube channel. All meetings in the Ferndale Schools are held in public in compliance with the Open Meetings Act. Printed documents discussed in tonight's meeting are available to the public upon request, with the exception of any information protected by student or employee privacy rights. Board meeting information is posted on our website at www.ferndaleschools.org. If you do not have internet access and need information, please contact the board offices at 248-586-8652 by Thursday of the week prior to the meeting, and district staff will do their best to work with you. Item 1.1, roll call, Ms. Sharper.
Crumrine.
Here.
Delavan.
Here.
Kaiser.
Here.
Turner.
Here.
President Dixon.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 1.2, approval of the agenda. After review of the agenda, are there any items that anyone wants to update? Then without objection and with unanimous consent, the agenda is approved. Brings us right up to item 2, presentation of building, Ferndale Middle School. Mr. Bruner.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
So I come here and thank you for giving me the opportunity to represent Ferndale Middle School at April's board meeting. As you all are aware of the 5 pillars of the district, we move to slide 2, please. Self-reflection, transparency, attendance, collaboration, data as a flashlight. So I'm going to explain how we use these pillars in order to make our decisions at Ferndale schools, how to improve everything that we do. So we're going to move on to the next slide, please. Every school has a story to tell, and I'm here to tell you Ferndale Middle School's story, right? So I'm going to go through some of the things that we do every day at Ferndale Middle School. We're going to have our students give their own self-experiences of how they see things at Ferndale Middle School. Self-reflection, we have monthly grade level meetings, sharing staff glow and grows for students. So what that means, so anybody's aware, glow and grows is every month we talk to students about things that we notice and that's going well. These come from the teachers and the staff that sends me messages, the things that I obviously see as well. And the things that we want to get better at, we have candid conversations with our students on things that we notice, and we want to make sure we learning from the things that we can do better at. So whether it's academic, whether it's social, we always strive to improve. Celebrating Students of the Month, you guys got to come over there sometime. If you've seen my newsletter, we do 6 Students of the Month per grade level, 1 in each subject area, including students with special needs, students that are selected from our support staff and from the administrative offices, as well as math, social studies, electives, ELA, and science. Every month we celebrate classroom character traits. It's something that we strive on at Ferndale Middle School. If you know me, you'll know me. I never mention grades to students. I never ask their GPA. I never if they all got A's and B's. I only ask, are you doing the best that you can be, right? As educators, one thing that I've learned and that my teachers value as well is that we know that students have their own identity, they have their own pace and their own way to success, and we want to honor that and support that. With that being said, connect and reflection activities during PLC, we have to learn to know one another. So every month we partake in fun activities. Also, we do that every month, even as a leadership team with Ms. Hibbler. But we do that also in our meetings because we want to learn about one another. We're ever evolving, even as adults. Connected activity for staff, or to our staff meeting, Day-to-day reflection specifically on iReady scores, panorama perception surveys, and teaching practices. We do that not only just monthly, but we dig in deeply at each fall and winter and springtime. Student data meetings. Students are aware when they take these tests, specifically the iReady test, to see where they are. If you're familiar with iReady, they're adaptable testing based on the students' needs and where they're at. And so it's important to let the students know what it's about and how we inform instruction based on where they're at and where their needs are. So students are well informed and have that dialogue with their teachers. We have daily support staff check-ins. We are fortunate enough to have a sort of practice coordinator, 2 counselors, a social worker, and a mental health specialist, and they have a caseload of students that they meet with and check on to make sure they're there for support in their everyday well-being, whether that's academic, social, behavioral. Transparency. We heard from our families. We had an antiquated newsletter system, and so I worked with my staff to update the newsletter, and I hope everybody, like, we really are trying hard. I got a lot of competition when I have to compete with upper and lower, but at middle school, things are a little bit different, but we really have, we see a lot of confidence. We really have always open to suggestions, but we update our newsletter, provide a format with transparency and ease of communication for families, and lately, we've really been getting a lot of positive feedback. We do daily, everyday announcements, student-led, as a matter of fact. Mr. Huff does a great job, our social studies teacher, of recording announcements, and our students, he records it. Sometimes we have a guest on there, but the students, for the most part, leave those announcements. We do a nuts and bolts at our PLCs. It's designed to share important updates and transparent information from administration to our staff during our 2-hour staff meetings. Our support staff, so when I mentioned the restorative practice coordinator, the counselor, the mental health specialist, the social worker, those are what we call our support staff. We have bi-weekly meetings to keep up with what's going on in the school, where students need level support, where we need to make adjustments. And those are, like I said, embedded in our scheduling. Attendance. It's important for me and important for our district. Obviously, it's one of our 5 pillars. We restrict our attendance, the way we do attendance, with the support of our restorative practice coordinators in our community and school, Mrs. Carr. We were able to break the attendance responsibilities down. So Ms. Carr, she does attendance for 6th grade, Mr. Ridgway for 7th grade, Mr. Pierce for 8th grade. Our goal is to decrease these behaviors while providing support, including whether there's need for transportation, mental health, or resources to our families. Also, the decline in absenteeism, reduction in tardies, particularly during first hour, which really was a significant concern. So we talk about a story to tell. In my school data, which tracks data throughout the schools in the state of Michigan, which is open to public. If you look on any school district website, you're going to see the transparency, my school data, and then the contracts that the district has with their unions. So if you look at my school data, you'll take a look at in 21-22, our on-track attendance, which by definition, on-track attendance by the state of Michigan means a student is attending school regularly, meeting the district threshold for attendance, i.e. less than 10% of absence in a school year. We were at 64.08% coming out of the pandemic. In 22-23, we were at 83.41%, and on-track attendance in 2024 is 96.17. And so, though I know, and it's in our pillars that data is a flashlight, well, we flashing a light on this one, so I want you to be aware. Again, we're here to tell a story. Collaboration. Student success team, take hold of the title. That's what we call our student success team, because we meet together, support our student success. MTSS certification, structured support for students in need of all tiers, tier 1, 2, or 3. Created weekly and monthly times for staff to share concerns and provide solutions. And you shouldn't say concerns twice. It meant to say solutions. One thing I'm proud that we do at Ferndale Middle School, and Ms. Castle, our counselor over here, can attest to that. We take concerns, we don't take complaints. Complaints is when you say things and they're not there to help anybody. Concerns is like, these are things legitimate, let's work to improve it. That's one thing that we stand out with every one of our staff meetings, and our staff is wonderful at adhering to that. FMS support staff, again, the principal, myself, assistant principal, mental health specialist, social worker, our 2 counselors, Ms. Perry and Ms. Castle, CIS student support coordinator, restorative practice coordinator, all meet bi-weekly again to support our students. We have weekly PLC meetings, whether it's grade level, district-led, subject-led, and special education meetings embedded in our monthly schedule every week. Parent-teacher conferences, flexible parent-teacher conferences, virtual and in person. We want to meet the needs of our parents as well. We intentionally make virtual and in person for parents that have to work late, or parents that may have time to come in and have those personal conversations. We were the first school in Ferndale to start our Back on Track. We have for 2 years in a row. Back on Track is our after-school programming. It's an intensive for our 7th and 8th graders and also our 6th graders. We also were the first school to start our tutoring program, which in coordination with Ferndale Youth Assistance, I want to say we got going by October of this year, something that was a good success for us. Back on Track in 6th grade and 7th, 8th grade intervention and Back on Track, working to tackle and meet needs of students almost at grade level, provides intensive reading and math, but also emotional mental health support. So for example, we designed our 6th graders a little bit differently. Seventh, eighth grade is specific towards academics, math, and ELA. But our sixth graders, we felt needed a little bit more support, so we dined it so they have an ABC schedule. They come in 3 days a week, 3 to 4:30 for after school, Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. But because we felt they needed extra support, we designed where one day they're in math, A group, B group is in ELA, C group is with with our restorative practice coordinator and our mental health specialist, and they do a mentoring program. So they get each of those components every day of the week. Been very, very helpful. To move on to our next slide. Data is a flashlight. So again, most of the time we present like our already data, PSAT scores, which we haven't gotten quite yet. We've had the mid-year, which we've done well in 6th and 7th grade, show very good growth. We're still working with our 8th graders. We have a lot of promise towards their spring scores. But again, if I go back to my school data, which again is on any very transparent on Michigan data system, in 21-22, our growth index data, so growth index means are your students meeting their growth level? So are they at least getting to the baseline and moving forward from there? So in 21-22, post COVID, our target was, our percentage of students that was meeting their growth target was 61.54%. In 22-23, we met at 96.21% their growth data. In 23-24, we had a slight dip, but you can still see we are really making progress, 86.30%. In iReady, we have our fall, winter, spring progress monitoring for iReady, identification of students for student success team, which is part of our MTSS process. Use Panorama and student and community data for student voices, student and community voice. We have Avid School-wide. That's one thing that I'm promoting. That we're working with our curriculum instruction department as well as Ms. Hibler. While that's a great program, everything in Avid is good for any student. And I'm staying here strongly support. That's a direction that I would like us to go in. Data supports the benefit of organizational structure with a focus on materials and thinking this year. At this time, I'm going to call Ms. Castle up, our 6th and 7th grade counselor. One more thing I want to brag about. 2 years in a row, I just came back from National Honor Society today. We've had a record-breaking for the 2nd year in a row number of students inducted in National Junior Honor Society.
Specifically for 6th grade, 2 years in a row with 6th grade inductees, the majority of the inductees. So just saying.
All right, so hi, I'm Mrs. Castle. This is my 3rd year as one of the 2 school counselors at Ferndale Middle School. And something that we're really proud of at FMS is we value our students' input. So we want to hear from them. We want to get their ideas, their voice, and incorporate that into the things that we're doing in the classroom and obviously activities that we're doing outside of the classroom. So I have a few students with me here tonight, and I will introduce them and ask them just a couple questions so they can share a little bit about their experience with you guys because they are, the experts on what's happening in the middle school. So I will just have them say their name and what grade they're in, and then I will go around and ask them their questions. We can start with you.
My name is Anina Morales, and I'm in 6th grade. My name is Samara. Hi, I'm 6 and I'm in 8th grade. I'm in 6th grade.
So each of these students, I picked kind of a diverse group so you could get a lot of different experiences from them. Being some of our 8th graders, they've been in the middle school, so they've seen a lot of the growth and the change that we've been through. And then for some of our 6th graders, I wanted you guys to be able to see, what's been their experience as a brand new student joining the middle school. So if you can just flip to the next slide, and then we will go through some of those questions. All right, so I'm going to start with Sydney and Michael to talk about what have you guys been involved with while you have been a student at Ferndale Middle School.
So for after school, I did volleyball, and I'm also a member of NJHS. And I'm also part of the dance program. I took that as an elective. And I'm also in PLCW, Project Lead the Way, design and model.
Michael. Awesome. Great job. All right, I'm going to jump to Kimura. How has staff helped you navigate social aspects of middle school? What does that look like for you?
Most of the staff are very caring. I think everybody wants their child to be super safe. And I think one of the places that you can be super safe is with Ms. Castle, Mr. Bruner, with Ms. Roberts, which is the LRC teacher. She helps students learn. She lets us do something in ECM. It really helps us, and most of the staff, if there's always a situation, we always want to hear both sides of the story, so there won't be anything like favoritism going on, especially Mr. Bruner, because if anybody does something wrong, or if there's a perspective of somebody else's, he still wants to bring it up. So I think most of the staff is pretty nice, and all the staff is, very caring.
Thanks, Kimura. All right, I'm going to go to Layla and have you talk about some extra academic support that you've gotten in some of our tutoring or back on track programs.
I've gotten help with my math and
And how has that been going? What have you guys been doing in there? Yeah, that's great. And then I'm going to jump over to Naima. How has the support given to you during your time at FMS? Obviously, you're in sixth grade, so this school year helped you succeed.
like how it helps me succeed is so I take admin and it helps me stay really organized with all my stuff. So she makes sure we fill out planners for the day, make sure we have all of our classes filled out, and it's just really helpful with everything working.
Awesome. And then I'm going to go down to number 7, and I'm going to have Nolan share about a staff member that has had the biggest positive impact on his middle school experience.
So the member that impact on my school experience would be my science teacher. She's got a good respect for the kids in her classroom. You're going for all hours. She's there to help you with anything you need. She gives you time to finish anything. So she's just there to finish. She feeds you if you have patience.
Any other questions or anything you guys wanted to add about your experience so far? Kamora, you had something?
I think Ferndale is one of the good schools to go to because our school is very caring. We do a lot of things so all the students can be seen and heard. Like when Mr. Bruner was saying earlier, we do announcements and most of the students go up there. Like today, my best friend, she was on the announcements, and everybody was super proud of her because it takes a lot of guts to sit in front of a screen and read the announcements and just say hi to everybody. But I think that you show ways to open the show. And at Ferndale Middle School, you will always get a chance, regardless of what happens. Like, let's say next year I want to do volleyball. Let's say I don't get into volleyball, I can still try again. And at the same time, it's still you did bad, it's not that, or you have a very good, example for yourself and stuff, but we really just need more stronger people. And that's saying it in a nice way as an adult. And I think that for sure, Ferndale is one of those schools that you will mostly hear about on the internet about good things. You can search up Ferndale Middle School on the internet, and you can see a lot of positive videos. And some teachers, some of the science teachers, they have a TikTok, and then they, scientists, kind of jokes and stuff on there, and it's just a super fun school. And I recommend that if you have children, if they already don't go to Ferndale, at least try because it's a very good school.
Did anybody record that? Wait a minute, we're going to have to repeat all of that again. Go ahead, Laura.
It's a Ferndale commercial.
We'll find you. We'll find you. We know where to find you.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much, and thank you to my students. They, volunteered their time to stay after school, and these are some of my regulars that are consistently participating in sports, consistently going to tutoring. They're involved in the play. They're, involved in a lot of different things, spanning throughout our school. So I really appreciate you guys, and thank you to the board for taking the time to listen today.
Thank you.
Now you see why I'm the proud principal of Ferndale Middle School. So thank you all, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. Excellent job. Thank you so much. Really great.
Highlight of the week
Yes,
for
you
me.
made my day. Enjoy your pizza.
Are we not taking a picture? I can get a picture. Mr. Bruner,
I'll take a picture.
you took a picture? Okay.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, yep, thank you.
With the board.
Yeah. Mr. Bruner and the board. Or they could just come over here.
Or the students and Mr. Bruner.
The students and Mr. Bruner, okay.
Mr. Bruner's running the other way.
Are you gonna come behind? You wanna?
No, they can actually just stay right there. They're ready to eat. They're ready to eat.
Oh, they have food.
Bruner.
Oh, that's for
Can I get a picture? Hi, don't hide. Remember the track.
good. Thank you, though.
We're gonna say, go Eagles, go Eagles. Thank you so much.
Now we need a photo.
All right, that's it.
Okay.
That brings us to item 3, the winter data presentation.
Mhm.
Good
Follow.
evening, everybody. Yeah, definitely a tough one to follow. Do my best. So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. A little bit later in the year than we typically like to come and do the winter data, but we thought in, was that February when we did the first of the policies around teaching and learning that we got out of here just shy of 9:30. We thought that meeting was probably not the right time to so we're here tonight to share out our winter data. But also to talk a little bit about a change in how I'm sharing data and the data that I'm sharing. You've all heard me joke a few times. Some of you sat through those 222 slide presentations. This is not going to be that long. If there is a desire to take that deep level dive into the data, I would be more than happy to do, we did that at a Saturday retreat a couple years ago, and that seemed to be a good platform. If there's interest, I'd be more than happy to do that again for you. But for our board meetings, what I've decided to do is focus on our MyKIP data. So if you're not familiar, MyKIP is the Michigan Integrated Continuous Improvement Process. It is the MDE's newest version of school and district improvement plan. Okay. So,
Sorry. I was trying to be the preacher. It's okay. You did an excellent job, Mike. It's a brick there. The brick is it. The brick is right. I apologize.
no worries, no worries.
There you go. Thank you.
No worries, no worries. Thank you. So as a part of our MyKit process, at the beginning of each school year, building level teams look at assessment data, typically from the prior spring. So iReady, NWEA, MSTEP, PSAT, SAT for the appropriate grades. And the building levels, the building teams, I should say, decide what they want to focus on as far as areas of growth during that school year. So then as a district team, we'll meet multiple times throughout the year, kind of revisit the data, talk about strategies for impacting a particular area. To back up a little bit, each building sets 3 growth area, 3 focal points for themselves for the year. A math goal, a literacy goal, and a social emotional learning goal. Okay? So as we go through the year, instead of looking at 222 slides of data, we've decided to just focus on the MyKIP goals. What is going to be the most impactful and most telling piece of data or pieces of data that are telling us if what we're doing is working or not? So after our winter benchmark window closed, I asked each of the building principals to work with their MyKIP teams to look at the winter data, compare it to the fall data, look at some fall to winter growth data, and again, specifically looking at, hey, how does this data tell us whether we're making progress or not? And then what are we going to do for the rest of the year to continue on the pathway to meeting our goals? So that's really what I'm sharing with you tonight, okay? Or what was shared with you. I'm not going to go deep on every slide. Really try and focus on that fall to winter growth, and also what the principals are saying about the fall to winter data, and then what the buildings are going to do for the rest of the year to continue to have an impact on their goals. Okay? Excuse me. So we'll start with TCEC. And I think it's pretty exciting for me anyway that we actually get to include TCEC in our data conversation. Now, this is the first year that TCEC has been doing the same benchmark assessment as the rest of the district. So it brings them into the conversation in a much better way than we've been in the past. So if we can skip up to the winter 2025 data and principals comments, you'll see that for TCEC students, basically their fall to winter data appears to be flat or decreasing. In talking with Mr. Corey, one of the things that he pointed out was because of the nature of TCEC, there might be roughly the same number of students testing from fall to winter. As you can see in the winter, especially for math, there's many more students testing. There's typically not the same exact student population that's testing. So it's great that we have the data. We're still trying to figure out the best way to get the read because some of the students who are testing in the fall don't stick around to test again in the winter. And then a lot of the students we have in the winter didn't test in the fall. So that's a challenge that we have to work through at TCEC in particular. So you can see that Mr. Corey is concerned with their low scores, lack of participation and or attendance in the supplemental programming to address the large gaps. You probably know that a lot of TCEC students are 100% virtual. So getting them to come on site to take a test that they have to take in person is a challenge. So that is something that TCEC has been working on for a couple of years. It's one of the reasons that they've been identified as a comprehensive support school, as we talked about previously, because they don't get 95% participation on their SAT. So getting those students in the building to test is a challenge, but they're working on it and they have increased their participation over the past couple of years. So that's good. And again, as I mentioned, their winter scores are lower due to new enrollments for second semester. But they are committed to benchmarking and looking at their data. They do PLCs just like the rest of our buildings, and they are working on that data on a weekly basis. Their plan for the remainder of the year includes continuing to work on disciplinary literacy. So when you see we'll incorporate the 10 essential practices, That's referring to disciplinary literacy, which is, kind of a, if you want to think about it, it's just how do we act, how do we think like a mathematician or a writer or a scientist or a historian, right? They're also looking at universal design for learning, another district initiative. We have 2 or 3 PCEC students participating in our UDL cohort, which is another exciting step forward for us. In the past, many of the TCEC teachers didn't participate in our district-wide PDs and cohorts, so it's nice to have them participate. So that's kind of TCEC fall to winter in a nutshell. We can move on to University High School. And again, we'll kind of look at the winter data, and in particular, the fall to winter data. You can go up a couple more slides, sorry. I actually go a little bit farther where it says fall to winter. Yeah, right there. Thank you. So as just a quick preview, what you're looking at here are the average grade levels for students taking the test at UHS. So what you see there is in the fall, the average 9th grader was testing just under 4th grade level. After or during the winter benchmark window, the average increased almost 2 full years, so just under a 6th grade, which obviously is not where we want our students to be. But if we continue to show that kind of growth over the course of time, we'll have our kids where we want them to be. 10th grade, not quite as big of a jump, but still a nice jump. And then 9th and 10th grade reading as well showed impressive jumps. That bottom row, sense of belonging, that is part of the Panorama survey. If you remember a couple weeks ago, we talked about Panorama. One of the components of their survey asked students about their sense of belonging at the school. You can see a little bit of an increase there for university high school students. Their plan for the remainder of the year is multifaceted. You'll notice IXL in both math and reading, discourse, disciplinary literacy, MTSS. So a lot of the initiatives that we've been focusing on across the district this year and the past couple of years as well. You'll notice building thinking classrooms in mathematics. That's actually a research-based book that several of our secondary math teachers have kind of learned about, and there's some wonderful strategies in there. I wish I was still in the math classroom. I would be using a lot of them. But that's something you'll notice on a couple of our buildings, focusing on BTC or building thinking classrooms. And the SEL column, CPC, that's their college preparatory course. That's the seminar-ish course, for lack of a better term. Ruler is a social emotional learning out of Yale, I believe. They do their mood meters, their Eagle activity days, their classroom circles related to restorative practices, relationship mapping, enhanced support systems, and again, MTSS. So that's UHS. Moving on to Ferndale High School, again, if we can go to the fall to winter. All right, so a lot of data on this particular slide. What you're looking at here is percent of change from fall to winter. So if you're looking at, for the reading, mid or above grade level, 3.35%, what that's really saying is that there was an increase in that particular category of 3.35% of our students from fall to winter. Right? Moving left to right, so mid or above grade level, that's where we want our students to be. So we want to see those numbers on the left side being positive, and the categories on the right side, 2 grade levels below, 3 grade levels below, We want those numbers to go down, and we can see that for reading that exactly happened. Focusing on the farthest right, 3 or more grade levels below, we had 9.31% fewer students in that category in the winter than we did in the fall. And for 10th graders, we had 11% of our students fewer in that category. So again, not where we want to be or where we need to be, but that's an indicator that some things are moving in the right direction. For math, so I had to do some calculations for you because they didn't show up properly. I'm going to read the actual changes to you. So for 9th grade math, we had a 2.72% increase. So if you have paper in front of you, you can cross out the 4.96 and 2.72% higher for the mid or above grade. Early on grade level, we saw a decrease of 0.73%. 1 grade level below, we saw a decrease of 1.56%. 2 grade levels below, we saw an increase of 5.29%. And then 3 or more grade levels below, we saw a decrease of 5.62. So the 2 or more grade level is not what we want to see, but the 3 or more was a nice jump. For 10th grade, percentages from left to right should have been 0.19%, so basically flat for the mid or above grade level. Early on grade level, we saw a decrease of 1.5%. 1 grade level below, we saw an increase of 3.25%. 2 grade levels below, we saw an increase of 1.77%. And then 3 or more grade levels below, we saw a decrease of 2.7%. When you're thinking about those numbers, especially in the 10th grade, we obviously want to see more positives farther on the left. We didn't see that across the board, but when you're thinking about why did we have 1.77% higher or more students in the 2 grade levels below, well, that might actually be a good thing because we're moving students from 3 grade levels below up a level, right? So maybe we didn't move as many of those 2 grade levels up to 1 below, but at least we got some more from that 3 in. So when you have 5 categories like this, sometimes it can be tough to kind of see and think about where those are coming. But the bottom line is, like the other buildings that we've looked at so far, some improvement, but got a lot of work to do still. Okay. So their Ferndale High School plan for the remainder of the year. Before I go into this slide, have we talked about tiers of instruction? Like if I say tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, do we? Probably not. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So tier 1 instruction is what teachers are doing for the entire class. Okay. Tier 2 is typically what students are doing for smaller groups of students. And then tier 3 is typically groups of students where maybe an interventionist is working with some students. Okay. So we want our tier 1 instruction to have the most impact because that should be addressing every student. So for tier 1 at Ferndale High School, you're going to continue supporting staff with additional planning tools, modeling good instruction, providing time to collaborate on evidence-based math and ELA strategies. For tiers 2 and 3, looking at refining push-in and pull-out practices, increasing the fidelity with which their intervention products and protocols are being implemented, and then continuing to use the iReady diagnostics to guide groupings. Part of the iReady reports will help teachers group students based on the results of the tests. Looking at providing professional learning for teachers focused on differentiated instruction. Related to that, our Panorama pilot that we talked about 2 weeks ago has a really nice tool that builds differentiated lesson plans for teachers. And again, it's directed right at a teacher's student. So if I'm a teacher in a math classroom, I can request a differentiated lesson plan, and Panorama will build that lesson plan based on the data that's in the system for my students. So it's not just a generic plan. So we'll be tapping into Panorama during our pilot phase. And then last thing, supporting student agency to help students set personal growth goals and then track them over time, right? We sometimes do a good job of setting goals and then not revisiting them until too far down the line. So, Ferndale High School. Ferndale Middle School, you already heard a little bit about Ferndale Middle School tonight. If we go to fall to winter, oh, sorry, I'll flip to the next page, my apologies. So, one of the risks when you send out some guidelines and say, hey, send me the data the way that it makes sense to you, we get some different formats. And you get a little bit of different format here from the Ferndale Middle School. So if we look at FMS Math Action Plan winter to spring, one more up, please. Sorry. No, sorry.
Page 30.
There, I'm sorry. Just a couple more down. Right there. It's at, if you can, what's at the bottom, just move that up a little bit. That'd be perfect. Please and thank you. Okay. So, see, Mr. Bruner included the MyKIP goal, 70% of the students to achieve their growth goal, and a minimum goal of 5% increase in overall percentages. So based on their fall to winter data, you'll see that they're going to continue leaning into their tier 1 instruction, making sure that all students get the best instruction that they possibly can. Building thinking classrooms, UDL, universal design for learning, and disciplinary literacy, small group instruction, math intervention and after school tutoring, IXL, and student work protocol is a data analysis protocol that we introduced a couple of years ago in our team PLCs. Basically what that is a teacher will volunteer to bring a few examples of student work, share the work with the team, and then the team will kind of look at the student work and provide some thoughts and ideas on how the classroom teacher can then go back to the students to increase the students' proficiency and achievement over the content. So that's one of the ways that we actually have professional learning communities on our early release Wednesdays. Literacy action plan. You'll see a very similar goal, very similar strategy, so I won't spend a lot of time there. The only thing I'll highlight is, unlike math, where we have math intervention class that's just kind of focused on the iReady results and classroom instruction as far as the grade level math, we do have a reading intervention program. It's called Read 180 that our reading intervention classes have at middle school and Ferndale High School. For SEL, focusing on self-management, which you heard a little bit about with the AVID school-wide goals, the Bang Around organization, and then social awareness, how well students are considering the perspectives of their classmates. That's Ferndale Middle School. So moving on to Ferndale Upper Elementary. If we look at winter 2025 data, MyKIP focus, go back down one slide for me, please. The chart slide, one more. There we go, thank you. So what Ms. Jeffrey has provided is the fall to winter all in one slide. Oh, I apologize. Can you go down one more slide? I am so sorry. No, sorry.
Nope.
There's a chart that shows two numbers in each cell.
Is it down? Here.
There we go. Sorry. Thank you. Yep. So what you can see here is in one slide, how the changes in different categories. So well below, below, at, well above, and above. You'll see numbers increasing for the most part, left to right. And just to be clear, unlike the data table we saw previously, where we had the highest levels on the left, here we've got the highest levels on the right. So we want to see numbers increasing from left to right. And the numbers on the right side of the arrow, on the right side of the table being bigger than the left. And we do see that. So we look down at the next slide, fall to winter MyKIP goal progress. So third grade, 7% net end of year goal. Basically what that means is that even though we're only halfway through the year when this assessment data was collected, 7% of the students had already met their full year goal. 5% of the fifth graders and 6% of the fifth graders met the goal. If we look at the building average in winter, I should say the goal. So by June 2025, pathways of progress, that's reading, will grow from 63% to 70%. What you see there is that the building average was 69%. So even though we're only halfway through the year, we're only 1 percentage point away from meeting that end of year goal. So knocking on the door. So we expect to really crash through that door in the spring. And then the bottom category there, 10% of our students increasing categories from well below to at least one proficiency level above. You'll see that they exceeded that goal in all 3 grade levels, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. Okay. Katie included some just for fun iReady progress. Because that's kind of like extra credit there, we're going to skip that, but be happy to stick around and after the meeting if you have any questions about that, be happy to talk about it. But let's see, let's look at principal's comments fall to winter. All grade levels in iReady reading were above the expected median growth. So from fall to winter, we would expect our growth median to be 50%, representing half of the full year goal, and all of the grades exceeded that. 3rd grade is currently above the national curve for stretch growth. If you're not familiar with stretch growth, iReady has what they deem typical growth for a year, which is based on norms of historical test takers. And then they have what they call a stretch growth, which is really meant to drive students catching up if they're behind grade level or really moving into an accelerated level. So we've got a lot of our students at Fuel who are working on their stretch goal, and, pretty confident that the traditional goal will be a piece of cake for them, and really want that stretch goal. And I appreciate the Fuel staff and students looking at the stretch goal and not just the regular growth goal, because that's how we get into our excelling mode and not just surviving, for lack of a better term. You'll also notice fish tank curriculum. Ms. Robinson presented on fish tank a couple months ago. Oftentimes there's an implementation dip. But because the implementation and the product are so strong, we're actually seeing an increase in year 1. So we're excited about that and anticipate that will continue. We're seeing significant resources in ELA that are suggesting that our MTSS program is working. And that's also very exciting for us. For the math, growth overall is more across all placement levels. This is suggesting some more equitable instruction, but we still have a need to move students who are multiple grade levels below. less support at the MTSS level than an ELA, meaning building wide. They have more reading core support. They have reading intervention. They have one math core person. So they have multiple people providing reading intervention, only one person providing math, but we're still seeing some positive growth. So, and then the plan over at Pua is to continue moving things forward, and they're going to add in some academic discourse and talk moves for math to try and jumpstart those a little bit more. Okay. All right, last one, Ferndale Lower. If we look at the winter 2025 data, he didn't provide fall to winter growth, so I'll read some of them for you. So let's kind of focus at the well above, or at and well above. So from fall to winter in kindergarten, we saw a 7% increase in at and a 13% decrease in well above. Now, at first glance, that's concerning, and it is. But I also want you to think about, at the beginning of the year in kindergarten, what the students are being tested on is really alphabet recognition, right? And then when you get into the middle of the year, they're asked to do a lot more. So it's concerning, but it's not really concerning because they're being asked to do a lot more. So, we'll look at that. We'll learn and we'll get better at it. But it's not totally unexpected. For first grade, at went up 1%, well above went up 8%. Second grade, at went up 1%, well above went up 4%. So you can see in first and second grade ELA that we are seeing the growth that we would hope to see. Math, kindergarten, at went up from fall to winter 7%, and above went up 11%. So overall 18% increase in students at or above in kindergarten math. First grade, at went up 5%, above went up 17%, so 22% overall increase at and above. And for math in second grade, at went up 6%, above went up 11%, so 17% increase of students at or above fall to winter. If we skip down to plan for the remainder of the year, continue data conversations with our LADAs, which are language arts teaching assistants, in order to drill down into skills for the individuals in kindergarten. Increase frequency with targeted small groups in first grade, focus groups in second grade, 2 times per week based on ability. Continue with our progress monitoring and accountability checks. Student success team, that's SST. SST progress and tiered intervention, and working hard to get more students in their back on track tutoring program, make sure that we're really having an impact with the students who need it. And for math, similar to what we saw at Ferndale Upper, bringing academic discourse and talk moves back, continuing with back on track tutoring for math, and then cross grade level conversations so our teachers can learn from each other. Questions?
What's most surprising about all that data you just showed?
I guess what's probably most surprising is that we didn't see a little bit more growth in the high schools. It's typically a little harder to move high schools on tests like iReady and NWEA because of the way that standards are covered through the grades, and also the way the tests are designed. But that being said, I think we do have room for more growth at the high school level, and I would really like to start seeing more of our students not only grow but get up to grade level proficient. Growth is absolutely critical and it's relevant, but we really need to make sure that we're getting our students up to grade level and keeping them there.
I know you asked Tom, but may I answer?
Yeah, I was helping everybody.
Okay.
It was not just a Tom
Okay,
question.
okay. For me, I was most surprised to see growth already in K-5 literacy. I was expecting, with this being their first year of implementing their new curriculum, I mean, typically with a new tool, you see an implementation dip because you're prioritizing a new curriculum. You just, you usually see a dip year one, and it kind of comes back up year two, with teachers becoming more comfortable, et cetera, et cetera. But to see growth already, fall
Yeah.
to winter, was positively surprising for me. Extremely, I was prepared, and to see that growth already is great. I'll also say too that this is the first year implementation for iReady, so to
Good point.
see the analyses from the principals at that level and digging so deeply into the data and the reporting tools that another new program was able to provide. Surprising for me.
Yeah, I would agree. Thanks for bringing those up because those are good points to be made. Other questions?
Can we get a standard report for each school? Forward?
Yes.
When you say a standard report, what exactly do you mean?
Everybody's reporting the same stuff,
Oh,
same
sure.
way.
Yeah.
We've got goals. Some of these are really good. Some of these could use some work. And just sort of setting a bar because I think it'll be much easier to read. Like when I'm printing out 150 pages and just being able to read the same thing, but also just how we're able to see how everybody's doing.
Totally clear.
Yeah.
Do you think that'd be a good thing to have for a data deep dive?
Yeah. Or even just bring a template back and we can kind of review it and just give the direct, but just something where it's just like, it's easy to, everything's apples to apples.
Yeah, and also within, like, there's certain principles that share certain things, like went above and beyond that you kind of, but so then that kind of makes you wonder, well, what did the other school do? It just raises more questions. Good, but.
Right.
I was keep asking.
Yeah.
Did not all the schools do SEL surveys?
No, talk about this.
So Lower doesn't do panorama surveys. They do surveys, paper pencil, or is it like,
Smiley face.
Yeah.
And they have to call my teacher cares about me and they.
thank you. Yeah, every other building does the panorama SEL surveys.
But I think that there was something with the timing of when this reporting, when we had to turn in the board report, I believe we were still in a window. So that may be a piece as well. It was something wonky that happened with the timing. So we do have fall to winter for
Right.
the SEL.
One of the reporting tricky parts for the panorama survey is it's such an in-depth platform that they really don't have a quick, easy summary report that we can print out. That's why in the past we've often jumped into the panorama platform live and kind of showed you some of the highlights. And yeah, I'm not sure why there wouldn't. I should have asked for more specifics on SEL. But we can definitely share out some highlights and some areas for concern when we share the iReady and Acadians data. Any other questions? If you have any questions, direct them to Ms. Hibbler. She'll send them to me, and I'll be happy to get them answered for you.
Thanks,
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Brings us to item 4, Eagle Excellence Presentation.
All right. Brings us to item 5. Is there anyone here for public comment? All right. Item 6. Consent agenda. Item 6.1, request to approve minutes of the special meeting committee of the whole Monday, March 3rd, 2025. Item 6.2, request to approve minutes of the regular meeting Monday, March 17th, 2025. Item 6.3, the request to approve new hires, resignations, and transfers. Item 6.4, request to approve bills, accounts for March 2025. Does anyone wish to remove an item from the consent agenda for questions or discussion later? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented
So moved.
by Mark,
Second.
seconded by Aaron.
That was me.
I'm sorry, it was Lisa. I knew it was Lisa, but Aaron's in my side view over here. Roll call, Ms. Shepherd.
From Ryan,
Yes.
De La Laverne,
Yes.
Hart,
Yes.
Kaiser,
Yes.
Palmer,
Yes.
Turner,
Yes.
Beckman.
Yes. Thank you. With 7 yes votes, the motion passes and the consent agenda is approved. Brings us to item 7, action items. 7.1, request to approve E-rate network wireless access refresh. How you doing?
I'm wonderful. How are you? Long time no see.
For real?
Good evening, everyone. Tonight before the board is, for your consideration, is the E-rate network wireless refresh. As we discussed at the earlier meeting this month, this is a refresh of all of our wireless networking and our UPSs, the battery backups that power all of our equipment. We're using the federal E-rate funds, which is basically free money to the district, to help offset the cost. The remaining portion will be covering from our bond, the technology portion allocation. For the E-rate bid response for the network wireless, we had 5 responses. We're recommending the lowest qualified bidder, which is Intercom Technical Services, with the Meraki Cisco Wireless Solutions, the same Cisco Wireless, upgrading our 7-year-old systems to the newest standards, with 7-year licensing and installation. For the UPSs, we're recommending Delta Networks, another trusted partner across the county, for the Eaton UPSs and battery extensions packs as the lowest qualified bidder. That includes installation, disposal of the existing systems for a 1-to-1. If there's any particular questions I can entertain, be happy to do so.
Just for everyone's clarification, when you say lowest qualified bidder, you mean lowest cost qualified bidder, right?
Well, yeah, so when we look at the qualified bidders, sometimes the bidders may appear to be lower pricing, but once you do an apples-to-apples comparison,
Yeah.
sometimes they forget that.
I just wanted, the lowest is not referring to the word qualified.
Okay.
We're referring to cost. They're qualified bidders. And it's
Yes,
lowest cost.
in this case, yes.
I'll entertain a motion to approve item 7.1, request to approve E-rate network wireless access refresh.
I'll second.
Moved by Aaron, seconded by Jonathan. Any discussion on the motion?
Excited to be up to date.
I'm sorry?
Excited to be up to date.
Oh, absolutely.
Roll call, Ms.
It's a techie's dream.
De Laverne,
Yes.
Hart,
Yes.
Kaiser,
Yes.
Turner,
Yes.
Beckman.
Yes. Thank you. With 7 yes votes, the motion passes and the consent agenda is approved.
Thanks for all your work on this.
Thank you.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Mullins. All right. Item 7.2, request to approve Ferndale Middle School social studies proposal.
Hello again. I'll be shorter this time. I promise. So I'm here on behalf of Taiwania Robinson. Remember, she presented to you a couple weeks ago on social studies curriculum resource for Ferndale Middle School, TCI, Teachers Curriculum Institute. Don't have anything new other than she did include teachers' comments that you had asked for. So hopefully you saw those and reviewed those in your packet. Other than that, we are asking for approval of our proposal to start with TCI in the fall of 2025. I'll entertain any questions.
I'll entertain a motion to approve item 7.2, request to approve the Ferndale Middle School social studies proposal. Moved by Lisa. Second by David. Any discussion on the motion? Roll call, Ms. Shepherd?
Hart,
Yes.
Kaiser,
Yes.
Walner. Yes. Turner,
Yes.
Furlong,
Yeah.
Taylor,
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. With 7 yes votes, the motion passes. And item
TCI?
7.2, the request to approve Ferndale Middle School social studies proposals approved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 7.3, request for second reading approval of Title IX policy revisions.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Very briefly, would like to summarize what you have in front of you for second reading approval tonight. This is a policy series that we have from our legal counsel, Troon. As you know, the Title IX regulations were revised to reflect a 2024 administration, and in this past summer, those regulations were blocked by a federal judge. And so the policy that we have brought before you for approval tonight is from our legal counsel, Troon, and is in compliance with the current Title IX regulations, which closely mirror the 2020 regulations that we previously followed. So I'd be happy to answer any questions about that, but I'm submitting the Title IX policies for approval this evening.
I'll entertain a motion to approve item 7.3, request for second read and approval of the Title IX policy revisions. By Jonathan,
Second.
seconded by Jackie. Any discussion on the motion?
Just thank you, Tom, for all the work you do on the policies. to keep us
Absolutely.
up to date.
Trying my hardest.
Roll call, Ms. Shepherd?
Yes.
Walner, yes. Turner,
Yes.
Furlong,
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. With 7 yes votes, the motion passes and is approved. Item 7.4, request for the second reading and approval of salary schedules for central office administrators and exempt employees.
Thank you very much, President Dukey. Presenting to you for second read and approval, salary schedules for our central office administrators and exempt staff. As we talked about the committee of the whole, this is in response to really two different things. The primary being a recommendation from MASA, to develop salary schedules for our non-represented employees, and in particular our superintendent and administrative staff. We also feel a strong need for consistency with salaries in our central office staff. As you can see in the information presented, some minor salary tweaks for a couple of individuals that our salary studies showed were a little out of whack. And so we feel this is going to be a good thing for us in the long term, and is also going to protect some of our staff members in their retirement and ORS calculations. So again, happy to answer any questions about that, but presenting this tonight for second read and approval.
Entertain a motion to approve item 7.4, request for second read and approval of salary schedules for central office administrators and exempt employees.
So moved.
Moved by Lisa.
Second.
Seconded by Aaron. Any discussion on the motion?
Just thank you again for doing this important work.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Roll call, Ms. Shepherd.
Walner,
Yes.
Turner,
Yes.
Furlong,
Yes.
Taylor,
Yes.
Hart,
Yes.
Kaiser,
Yes.
President Dukey.
Yes. Thank you. With 7 yes votes, the motion passes and the item is approved. Bring us to number 8. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
Superintendent's update.
Good evening. It is not very exciting when the superintendent has to report out on a bunch of meetings, but my last 2 weeks has been filled with preparations for 25-26. So having very intentional conversations with leaders, looking forward to 25-26, and essentially working to plan ahead while still developing the dynamic plan. Just making sure that everyone is on the same page as we go into this to next school year, but definitely working to ensure everyone's head is on closing out strong this school year while also looking ahead to 25-26. Also want to highlight, of course, much of my season at this time has been preparing for our upcoming 2025 bond proposal, which includes a presentation at Royal Oak Township Council meeting, which was lovely, great questions, and also a PTA, elementary PTA had opportunity to present there as well. Also wonderful questions, but bond proposal as well as preparations has definitely been the bulk of my time since we met last, but also looking forward to update on the next steps in our dynamic plan based on our next couple of meetings that are coming up. But very busy, but also just very busy time. Exciting. Happy to answer any questions that the board may have based on my update.
Mind doing like 30 seconds on what everyone can expect at the community town hall?
Yes, I was gonna. Okay, community town hall is going to be wonderful. Let me just say, we will be talking about how K-12 funding actually works, and why what is happening in Washington at the federal level is so crucial that our community understands exactly how that funding works. So we'll not only talk about at the federal level, we'll bring it, of course, down to the Ferndale level and what the impact could mean for us. And the most important aspect of the evening is what to do about it. So we'll have some very specific advocacy opportunities, call to actions, all of the things for us to get a little bit organized with our support for what is right, which is appropriate funding for K-12 education. We're very excited. And also, dinner is also very exciting, which will begin promptly at 6 p.m. on April 30th. That was more than 30 seconds, but I'm very excited about it. We'll take it. Here, where is it? It will be here. Yep, it will be here in our gymnasium. We're also happy to, I think this is our first large scale event for non-staff in this building. So we're also excited about that. Nothing too exciting to see in our building, but we are working from out of here, and so we're excited to show that off as well.
Right, item 9. Thank you. Item 9, informational items. 9.1, budget to actual.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
This is the budget to actual for March 2025. Things are rolling along. There's not too many differences from the budget, just some staffing here and there. But are there any questions?
Thanks, Dawn.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Item 10, we didn't have any pulled consent agenda items. Item 11, our next committee of the whole is Monday, May 5th, 6 o'clock, and our next regular board meeting is Monday, May 19th at 7 o'clock. Brings us to item 13, Eagles Points of Pride, comments, concerns.
I can start. I mean, points of pride, I gotta point to being able to hang out with kids in Atlanta with, to me, what was one of the biggest learnings for me as being a rookie outside of, I don't know a lot about Beyonce, was the fact that what we have here is not the norm. So I think I appreciate that, and I didn't really realize that, but it's cool to know. It was nice.
I'm gonna piggyback on that. My queen of pride is our superintendent and our president, our board president, gave an incredible presentation at the NSBA conference. I learned a lot about the history of this board and the work that it has taken to develop the relationship that has taken place between the people who have had relationship up to this point. And I'm just excited to be a part of it and to grow in that relationship with you all. And yeah, you all gave an incredible presentation. So thanks for that hard work. Thank you.
I'll go. Just to reiterate how proud I was watching the two of you share our story and your story, and having so many people who attended the session wanting to learn more. It just shows, as Dave was saying, that we have a great story to tell. And after having gone to so many sessions, I know that there's more to tell. Many of the sessions that I attended, in my mind, I'm thinking we could do this because this is nothing new, or our story is better. The one session I did attend was on student advocacy and how we can get our students to be at the table with us, getting to hear their voices to really drive how we make our decisions. And then seeing the middle school students, I already have some ideas in mind on how I would love to, in the fall, revamp and restart our student board representatives. So I'm really excited about tapping some of those students who we heard tonight.
I'll go next. Mine, since we're doing one, was really on the middle school presentation, seeing how the students were able to speak to their love of not only middle school, but Ferndale schools as a whole. It was really a sight to see, especially since they didn't have a script in front of them. I think that was a really big point for me. So just, again, giving a shout out to our Ferndale community.
I will give like a point of pride slash one that is coming up as well, is like next 6 weeks are just bonkers for everybody. And just all the people that are volunteering time, and whether it's you all out and about, Deputy Superintendent Robert, we're at skate night, folks that are out volunteering right now for the bond, to concerts. It's just like this is where it's crazy, but this is also where this community is so great, where you just see so many people volunteering, teachers and everybody. So just thank you for all the time everyone puts into this for our kids.
I can go. Mr. Bruner took mine a little bit, but I was going to say another congrats to the kids who are being inducted into NJHS today, like as we speak, in middle school. And then I also want to just give a shout out to camp season in K through 5. It is just a super cool program that we have at Ferndale schools, that we have this element of outdoor education. It's a huge community builder, and it requires so many volunteers. And the people who put it on put so much time and effort into planning it. So if anybody's, I'm sure everybody's like dying to watch this board meeting on YouTube. So if you're watching, go sign up to volunteer for camp and help make a great experience for our kids.
So I want to piggyback on yours, and that this is just a wonderful community. Skate night is always a big night, but it's absolutely wonderful to see so many families from all the age groups there. Really a big community event. And then I have to do a shameless plug. So May 17th, Saturday, 10 a.m. until 2 p.m., our health and wellness fair will be at Ferndale High School, and that is sponsored by our wellness committee. So really looking forward to everybody being there, getting some resources before summer really starts. Really hoping you come out. It's going to be our first annual. Absolutely.
So can echo everything that was said here, but I would like to, my Eagle Excellence is 2 words, giggle pickles. This has just been such an amazing journey. I just keep thinking about like all of the life lessons and life experiences that the students got just from like every aspect of their season, right? And to have the experience of going to the World Championship. I mean, they were competing against high school students, right? And being in the top 15 in the world. I am just floored by their experience. I'm so proud. There are no words. And similar to what was mentioned, this is a community-led, like volunteer-led organization, right? This is their first year. This is just, again, the words escape me, the pride that I have from being a part of being able to support them, watching them journey, watching them learn so many life lessons. And it's just such a cool name. I'm excited to say Giggle Pickles every time I can. So shout out to Giggle Pickles and everyone involved with the organization.
I'm gonna give a shout out to the admin professionals since it's their day today. Is it today or Wednesday? It's Wednesday. Well, I'm gonna do it today because I'm not gonna be here on Wednesday.
Right.
So sending my shout out to those folks that they're the glue of the buildings. Keep the things running. Hopefully that your administrators treat you well. If they don't, let me know. I might know somebody. Yeah, kudos to you all. So with that, we are adjourned at 8:21.